What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today we're going to talk some football. Houston Texans football. Y'all already know what time it is. It's football time in Houston. It's playoff time in Houston. Houston Texans, Saturday, versus the Indianapolis Colts. Wild card. First round of the playoffs. The third time they met, the third time they will meet this season. The third time that DeShaun and Andrew Luck will face off this season. So it's Andrew Luck versus Deshaun Watson, part 3. We were robbed last year due to Watson tearing his ACL the week of the game leading up to the Indianapolis Colts, and also Andrew Luck not playing all last year. So we were robbed last year of seeing that. And both games this year were classics to a certain degree. And we're going to see a round 3. Now, to people's belief, contrary to some people's belief, I actually want this matchup. This was the matchup that I wanted. So there's the people out there on Facebook that were clowning me talking about, man, I don't believe that. I don't believe you really want the Colts. Yes. Look at me. I'm dead serious. That's who I wanted to face. I'm being dead ass serious. That's who I wanted to face. I wanted the Indianapolis Colts. Don't get me wrong. I want that 2 seed. Like, that was the thing I wanted the most, to get the 2 seed, because you control, let the playoff chips fall to you however they fall to you. But if we was going to have to play Wild Card Sunday, I want the Colts. Because I want one, for this is multiple reasons. But one reason, I want my rematch. I want to get my revenge back on the same stage where we took our L against them at NRG. But I also just, I wanted to have that marquee matchup, because we need to stop having that Brian Hoyer, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Mallett, Brock Osweiler, Tom Savage mentality when we going into a playoff situation, going to a game situation, knowing that we have the lesser quarterback, unless we so happen to get kind of cooked because Derek Carr is hurt in the playoffs. We have a marquee. We can enter in marquee matchups with marquee quarterbacks and actually have a marquee quarterback of our own. So there's no reason to be afraid, and no reason to be scared, or no reason like, nah, we don't want them because they have a bad matchup. And so what? This is a team you can't run from. You know why? Because this team plays in your division. You see this team twice a year. Because this is the first time since the AFC South has been created that the AFC South opponents were facing the playoffs. I know before the Titans and the Jags met in the playoffs, the year the Titans went to the Super Bowl back in 99, but that was the AFC Central. It wasn't the AFC South. Since the AFC South in 2002, no AFC South team has met in the playoffs. This is the first time. And oh, what a time it's about to be. Like, people up here talking about like the matchup. You can't run from this team. Like Pittsburgh, the Chiefs, the Patriots, any other team that's in this playoffs or had a chance to get into the playoffs this year, you don't have to face them every year. Like, we ain't faced the Chiefs or the Ravens none this year. And hey, who knows? They might get knocked off by somebody else, and we have to run across them or face them. Things like that might happen. But this Colt team, you can't, because you have to play them not once, but twice every year. If you want to get back to the playoffs, if you want to win your division, continue to win your division, you have to get past this team anyway. So playing them in the playoffs doesn't matter from that standpoint, because you have to play them anyway. So if you're afraid of playing them in the playoffs, I mean, you're afraid of playing them in the regular season, which means, why do you watch the games? Why even play? Why even suit up then? If you're afraid to face them because they in your division, you have to compete with them year in and year out, twice a year on the field, and then got to compete with them compete in other games just to win the division. So there's no reason to run from that, man. There's no reason to run from that. Does this team have a bad matchup against the Texans? Absolutely. No, I'm not stupid. Like they can exploit our secondary, which I've been harping on for the longest. I know they can. And that's all I hear. That's the talk, and that's good. All the talk, all the good chatting. You got T.Y. Hilton saying this is second home. Because he does his dominance so well here. This is second home. You had Ebron before the game, talking about this 9-game win streak is a bunch of bullshit. And y'all won the game too. Good job. Good job. Yeah. Everybody, like, I don't see how the Texans can win this game. All the so-called analysts and experts who, by the way, keyword, don't watch games, because saying that they've been watching a player dominate who hasn't played none this year or has retired. But we're not going to talk about stuff like that. See, that people watch stats and don't watch games. And I'm going to go into that when I actually talk about the 2 previous games, because I actually got something about that. But, You got all that talking. That's good. Nobody's picking us. Good. I don't want nobody to pick us. Let the Texans be a dog. Understand that. It's cool. That's cool. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Like I said, because one, knowing that I have a quarterback, I'm confident in any type of playoff situation, especially the type of quarterback I have who's known to show up in big games before. And we're going to see, because I understand college playoffs is not, college playoffs and national championship game is way different from the NFL playoffs. But that's the highest level of competition of that division, in the college division. And he showed up like money. So every time he's been to the highest level of that division, he showed up like money. So I don't expect nothing less for him to continue to show up. Like from everything that we've had before, all the other indicators, he's been showing up. In primetime games, those are his best games. He shows up. So I'm assuming he's going to show up. Could he fall flat? Absolutely. His first playoff game. I understand that. But do I think he will? No. I think he's going to show up. And I think people are going to be very surprised and very impressed on how him and this Houston Texans team plays. Now, let's talk about the two previous games. Because there's something about those games. I went back and rewatched both games, and if you have time before the game, I actually advise y'all to watch both games, because something jumped out on both games. The Texans actually played worse in the game that they won than the game that they lost, and I'm explaining why. The whole thing, how people talk about the Colts gave us a gift, and the game should have been a tie, and if it was a tie, and the Colts would have beat us in Houston, then one of the Texans might not even go on the 9-game winning streak. And also, too, if they did still go on the winning streak and the Colts beat them in Houston in December, the Colts win the division, and this game is going to Indy instead of being in Houston. No, butterfly flex and all that type of stuff like that. Let's talk about the game, because the reason why I said the team played poorly, because outside of DeShaun, Hop, and Clowney and JJ, mostly because Clowney and JJ both had multiple sacks in the game. They both had 2 sacks and crucial points of the game, had forced fumbles and things like that. And DeShaun and Hop showed up. The game was poorly played, especially by the defense. DeShaun ended that game 3 different times, and either his defense or Kyrie Fairbairn, who just got named Special Team Player of the Month of December, which kind of worries me, because now that he's been named Special Team Player of the Month, I'm expecting a letdown. Because for his whole career, he's been highly inconsistent. I think he was Pac-12 Player of the Year. Yeah, he played in the Pac-12. He played UCLA. I think he was Pac-12 Special Player of the Year. So I think he has accolades coming out of college. So hopefully he just needed some years, some reps, and now he's starting to hit his stride. Hopefully, but that is kind of worrisome that he was given an award right before a playoff game. Because he only had one missed extra point, and funny that missed extra point came after he was named AFC Player of the Week. So, but anyway, DeShaun ended that game 3 different times. Okay. The reason why his defense kept letting them down, DeShaun kept on scoring touchdowns or putting points. Remember, the Texans were up 18 points. One play, the Houston Texans left Ebron completely wide open. When I mean wide open, nobody was covering him. It was that lapse in judgment. There was nobody over there. It was just Ebron by himself. And by the time that Honey Badger, and I think it was Zach Cunningham, realized it, Luck hiked the ball and just threw it up. Ebron catch the touchdown. I think they were like 5 yards away from him. Now, if they stopped him on that play, who knows? They could still score a touchdown on somebody else on that same play, but just wasn't a play. And Ebron still could have caught that touchdown. But just because he was wide open, it was easy touchdown. It was 3rd down. So if you stop him, that's a field goal. That's no longer 7. That's no longer 7. That's only 3. And they might go for it. They might go for it. They might miss. You never know. Anything can happen. But just because that one situation did happen, it happened because it was a lapse in judgment. Nobody was covering. By the time they realized there's nobody on that side, Ebron is right there standing in the end zone by himself. Let's hurry over there. Quick ass touchdown. Okay, so DeShaun goes back, drives him down the field. It's 3rd down, 3rd and 5. He hits Alpha Blue wide open. If Alpha Blue catches the ball, he turns, he gets the 1st down. He drops the ball, takes up to kick a field goal, and make it an 8-point game. Right after that, the Colts march up the field with a little over 2 minutes left. And like that when I originally watched the game, because I had a family emergency during that game, so I missed watching the game live. I actually had to record it on my DVR, so I went back and watched it as I was watching the game. My DVR did some crazy thing that right when it got to the last, like right after DeShaun kicked, the Houston kicked that field goal, it went from that field goal. I seen the kickoff. The first play from that drive, the next thing I know, I see Luck going like this, holding up, going for 2. I'm like, they just scored a touchdown. What the fuck happened? Because for some reason my TV just skimmed, so I missed that whole drive live. This was actually the first time I really got a chance to sit down and watch that whole entire drive, and it was one of those situations where the defense plays prevent. And it's one situation that I hate when the defense plays prevent. I prefer you to play a regular defense because the cushion that they was giving up, Luck was easily able to slice up and down the field. Now, of course, it wasn't the defense playing defense that caused them a touchdown, but they gained that whole 70 yards basically because the defense allowed them to get 70 yards because they were sitting back 5 to 10 yards off of the first down marker. So receivers was catching the ball wide open, getting first downs because the defense was so far back, giving that much of a cushion. It was. I just didn't like that. After watching them, like, this game should never went to overtime. 1, because of the Ebron. 2, because of the Alpha Blue. And then they should not have scored this last touchdown because the defense is just allowing them to score. Defense scored. I mean, the Colts scored. Then DeShaun gets the ball and drives right back, gets him in field goal range. It was a tough kick, but Fairbairn misses the field goal. I forgot all about that sequence. It's a field goal right there. You don't get that field goal. Okay, so then you go to overtime, game tied. Colts go down there, score, kick a field goal. Then now I know I seen a post that Hop has 15 catches, 115 catches, no drops. Stat is actually a lie because in this game here, DeShaun throws a 40-yard touchdown to Hop. Hop breaks free, and I remember when I'm watching the game, as soon as I see Hop running, because I know Hop and DeShaun money, I said, game over, we won. Hop catches the ball and drops it in the end zone. Those are the catches that you gotta make. You're the number 1 receiver in the league. You get paid like that. You my favorite receiver. You have to make that type of play. Those are what you get paid for. He drops it. I'm like, Texas still able to drive down, but they kick a field goal with a minute left. Then the whole sequence of the Colts getting the ball. Clowney is the reason why the Colts try to go for that 4th down because Clowney sacks Luck on the 3rd down play. Puts them out of range. So then they try to go for it for the 4th down, try to get the 4. Actually, at first I think I crushed them about that play. It's actually the call. I mean, I crushed them about the call going for it. Going for it was the right decision. The play was the wrong decision, actually. And I think the Colts actually could convert that 4th down if they would have did a better play. But it was a bad design. It was a bad play, a bad throw at the same time too. Again, this is also before Luck's arm was the same. So Texans get the ball, Texans drive, score, kick field goal, Texans win the game. That's the gift that everybody talks about. And to be honest, it's not if the Colts punt the ball, the Texans get the ball with roughly 20 seconds left. I think they still had a timeout. So they still could have kicked the field goal. It's not 100% that they couldn't have kicked that field goal. Now, in the second game, the game that I say the Texans played much better because the Texans should have won the game against the Colts should have never went to overtime because DeShaun could have they played with Alpha Blue. If Alpha Blue catches that ball, one, you suck some more time off, and even if you have to kick a field goal, or better yet, the Texans might score a touchdown and completely end up making a 2-score game. But it didn't. Like I said, the Ebron touchdown, Alpha Blue dropping, they playing prevent, letting the Colts run up and down the field, and then DeShaun gets him in the field goal range. It was a long kick. I think it was a 50-some yard kick, but it was in his distance. Missed the field goal, and then also overtime, Hop dropping the ball. So one, it shouldn't have went to overtime, and then even when it got to overtime, it still shouldn't have went down to the decision because Hop dropped a wide open touchdown because he broke free. Now the game that the Texans lost, but I think the Texans played better. Remember in this game, the Colts, for the first quarter, did not gain any further. Like, I said this after the game, that the Colts only really won the second quarter. Because the first quarter, the Colts didn't gain any first downs. Now, the second quarter, that's when you seen the big, I think it was like a 60-yard pass to T.Y. Hilton. He didn't score, but got him to the 1-yard line. They Texas are 7-0 in the first quarter. Second quarter, the Colts scored 17 straight points, so 17-7 at halftime. Colts get the ball back in the second half. Colts will stop. DeShaun gets the ball and drives all the way down the field, scores a touchdown, down by 3. After that, the Colts score a touchdown on the next drive, and that's it. The Colts only made it past the 50-yard line. They only made it to the Texans territory in that entire game 5 times. The time they scored, and then one time when Luck throws a pick. That's it. They do not get to midfield. They do not get in Texas territory. They do not cross midfield. I mean, they didn't get to the 49-yard, except the times that they scored, and then the other time Howell caught a pick. That's it. They couldn't move the ball. Now I know T.Y. Hilton had all those yards. Most of that damage was in the second quarter when they had big plays. Now granted, they had big plays, but after that the Texans defense were able to stop them and stuff them. Now remember that game was 24-21. Texans get the ball back and score. Now it's 2 minutes left. The Texans still Texas had out of timeouts, but it's 2 minutes left. Clowney jumps off sides, and that what ends the game. Luck and their coach on record saying that they were trying to hard count. The Texans weren't budging. Luck said that the coach in the end said, "Yeah, go ahead, call a timeout, and we'll punt the ball." Luck said, "I'm gonna try it one more time," and that's the time that Clowney jumped. So if Clowney wouldn't have jumped that last time, the Texans would have got an opportunity to at least tie, if not score and win the game. Now, also in that game, in this first quarter, on the touchdown drive, DeAndre Carter gets concussed, doesn't play. So you're playing from the end of the first quarter and the majority and then the rest of the game with Joe Webb playing receiver, because remember, you didn't have Kiki. Kiki didn't play. So that's the reason why Hop was dominated, because I hear talk, Hop only had some, they were able to dominate Hop. That wasn't the case. Hop was double teamed because they had no other threat. You have to run Joe Webb as you have to run your third string corner playing special team. Your third string quarterback playing special teams, running the slot. So of course your number one target is going to be bottled up. Now remember, that first game, that's the Kiki party. That's the 11 catches, 109 yards, 109 yards. 96 of those yards are yards after catch. 96 of 109 yards. Okay, it's not like he had a 99-yard catch or something like that, like a 90-yard screen he ran. They were all like catch the ball for a yard, run 20. Like he made plays. It wasn't just one big play that just makes the average big. He actually made plays on every single catch. And Kiki's playing. I think Kiki's been healthy. I think Kiki's been healthy since that Colt game. And I think that they've been holding him out because with hamstrings, you play and you get hurt, you might be out for 5 weeks. So, hey, we going to rest them. We know it's a 99% chance we going to make the playoffs. I think if it would have been a win-or-go-home situation in any of those games, like if the Jacksonville game, if you would have lost that Jacksonville game, if you lose that Jacksonville game, you don't make the playoffs wasn't clinched, maybe you would have seen Kiki in those type of situations, because the Texans had that hot streak of that 9 in a row, and they were 9-3. You were your favorable matchups like with Baltimore and the Pittsburgh and other teams. You had a multitude of Baltimore. You had a combination of Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Miami at one point, the Titans and the Colts. A combination of one of those teams lose, you clinch a playoff spot, which happened to Pittsburgh. End up losing. It came all the way down to Pittsburgh losing to the Saints, because both the Ravens, the Titans, and the Colts kept winning, but it was so many different numbers. Eventually, one was going to fall into your favor that you were going to clinch a playoff even if you didn't win out yourself. I mean, it's all for naught because the Texans did take care of business and win the games they had to win. But that was the reason why they could take a liberty and be like, okay, hey, we can hold off Kiki, because eventually some of these teams are going to lose. And I think if it came down to the 11th hour and he had to play because it had to be a win-or-go-home situation, like how the Titans and the Colts were Sunday night, you would have seen Kiki already. But because of their situation, Kiki, I think they were holding Kiki back because they don't want to risk him getting hurt and pulling that hamstring against the Eagles, against the Jags, and he's not ready for the playoffs. because this is where you need him at. This type of matchup right here, because I think this is the matchup going forward for the AFC South. This is the marquee matchup for the AFC South. Luck and DeShaun. This is the matchup that's gonna be on for the next 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8 years, depending on how long Luck and DeShaun are healthy or in this team, or on these teams. Now, I no disrespect to Jags or Titan fans. Jags definitely know they got to do something at quarterback. I more than likely think the Titans are going to do something at quarterback eventually. If I was a Titan GM, I would bring back Mariota, only because, one, this quarterback draft is so weak. Two, don't make decisions like the Texans, like the Colts. I mean, not like the Texans, like the Kansas City, and also like Minnesota's falling out. Like getting these free agent quarterbacks like Castle, and getting the quarterback like Osweiler and Cousins, and give them all this money, and they not do nothing for you. And you have a playoff caliber team, and they make your playoff caliber team look worse. Because that's what happens in all those situations. Kansas City look worse with Matt Castle. The Texans look worse with Brock Osweiler. Minnesota looks worse with Kirk Cousins. Don't fall into that hype. Draft a quarterback. But this quarterback draft class is so bad, I would tag Mariota for the 50th option and let him play this year out and see what happens. Just see what happens. And then if you fall off, or if Mariota clicks or whatever the case may be, then you know what you need to do going forward next offseason. I wouldn't do nothing just this season. But never mind that. This is the marquee matchup right here. DeShaun and Andrew Luck. I think DeShaun is the better player because he's the better overall player, because he's the one who's mobile and he has a strong arm. Now of course I think Luck's arm is stronger, but DeShaun has a strong arm and DeShaun makes plays. And I do think that, like, of course, like I say, the Colts can exploit a matchup. They can, and I think this matchup bodes well, because if they do, if Luck goes out there and throws for 400 yards and T.Y. Hilton scores and gets over 200 yards like he's done the previous times, then you definitely know that you need to do something with the corners. If that's bringing in Patrick Peterson, if that's moving up in the draft the corner, you know that you have to do something this offseason about fixing secondary, because you can't run from this team. You can't run from this team. You play this team twice a year. Put on your big boy pants and do something. This is what it is. You got to put on your big boy pants and actually do something. So, in saying that, like I said, this is the most excited I've been for a playoff game outside the first one, just because that was the first time the Texans been to the playoffs. 2012, I was disappointed because we fucked off a #1 seed. 15 and 16, we had Hoyer and Osweiler. I was hopeful because I'm a fan. I didn't really think the Texans was going to do anything. Because of DeShaun, I think we have a chance. I think that we're going to be able to get into any elite quarterback matchup. And it's not 100% certain that you're going to pick the other guy. I can find complete faults. Like, there was no way you could walk inside any quarterback matchup and pick Hoyer or Osweiler over the opposing team unless they were playing Connor Cook. There was no way. I can pick DeShaun over Luck. I can pick DeShaun over Tom Brady. I can pick DeShaun over Phillip Rivers. I can pick DeShaun over Lamar Jackson. I can pick DeShaun over Mahomes. Even though Mahomes, like Shan say, Mahomes boy. I can pick DeShaun. Now you can make cases for all those other quarterbacks as well against DeShaun. But I can make the counter argument of why I would take DeShaun over them. You couldn't do that before with Hoyer and Matlin and Fitzpatrick and Tom Savage and Osweiler. You couldn't do that before. Now you can do that. Now you can go in any type of game and, hey, I got a quarterback just as well as you do. So have that type of mentality. And of course, this might not be the year. This might not be the Texans' year to do anything. This might be a year, a stepping stone. I'm cool with that. I understand that. Because I know it's not like, oh, the Texans lose playoffs now, oh, it's over, the Texans will never win Super Bowl. Teams fall off in the first round one year, next year go on to a run and win Super Bowl. I understand that. So I'm not saying that, oh, this is doom and gloom if you fall off. But you definitely have a shot. You definitely have a shot. Now, you know the things that you need to do. Offensive line. Fixing the offensive line, fixing secondary is way easier than fixing corners. Fixing quarterbacks. Because that was the situation we were in previous playoff situations. We had to find out what we're going to do with quarterback. How are we going to fix this quarterback situation? It's way easier to fix offensive line. It's way easier to fix corners and secondary than it is fixing quarterbacks. So, be excited because I'm thinking it's about to be a good game. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below if you haven't. Click that bell to get my videos.